Hi everyone, this is Rachel and I'm here with another scrapbook process video. Today I'm using the Me-ology line from Fancy Pants Design, and I have this one called Diamond, and I don't know what I did with the branding strip for the other one. I think I show it in the video, but afterwards when I went to go write it down, I'm like, where did that other one go? So I'm going to do a layout today about one of the ferrets I have named Nala, and before I get to what the layout's actually about, I'm just going to tell you I grabbed a piece of green basil paper and just gutted it because I wanted to do a border because both of the pattern papers I'm using are pretty bold, so I just wanted a little break from the boldness. So I went ahead and cut off the edges of the diamond paper, and I'm going ahead and putting that with the green border. Now here are the three photos I have, and they are not very good photos. These are from my cell phone, and it was very sunny outside, and we have a brown couch, so it was a very nice summer day, and I had the windows open, and Nala crawled in there, and she was very interested in the birds that were outside, so she's like looking this way and that, and then popping up and then going back down, and it just reminded me of, I don't know if you guys have, any of you have seen the movie Lion King 1.5. Well, the meerkats have a song called Scurry, Sniff, Flinch, and it's about what they do. That's all they do is they scurry, they sniff, and they flinch, watching out for predators. And it just absolutely, her doing this totally reminded me of that. So as I was taking the pictures, I'm thinking of doing this page, and this is, oh, there's the other paper, and of course I'm rhapsodizing, so I wasn't looking at the video. Hopefully you caught it. So I'm inking the edges of the three pictures I'm using, and I'm also inking the edges of this other paper. I'm cutting the multicolor chevron, and then I cut this multicolor chevron, but I'm going to use the other side of it, which is the green and white polka dots. But what I want to do is I want to cut that shorter than the other paper. So I wanted to make sure you could see the polka dot paper with all the three photos going around it. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue down that big piece of paper, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue down the other one. I'm just going to put a strip down the middle in case I want to tuck anything behind it. I had already pre-planned this to basically be in this design. Unfortunately, in my head, I did this when I didn't have the photos in front of me, and in my head, I thought those two 3x4 photos were vertical instead of horizontal, so I think it would have looked better with having those two photos be vertical, but I wasn't going to reprint them just for that. So what I'm doing now is I'm cutting pieces to go down near the bottom. I'm going to create another focal point. Wow, I'm sorry, the words just stopped right there. I'm going to create another focal point for my another embellishment cluster down there, and also I'm going to put a very little bit of journaling down at the bottom as well. I have a very long title, so I kept this page between the long title and the really bold papers. I didn't do a whole lot other than that. So I do have the die cut pack that matches these papers, so I went ahead and pulled those out. And it was kind of funny because I had actually forgotten what was in the die cut pack, and there were actually several birds, which was funny because she was very reacting to the birds. You could hear them, they were very loud, and she was like, "What is that? What is that?" She's a ferret, she doesn't really go outside all that often unless we take her outside. So she was just very fascinated by all the noises that were going on, and she kept popping up and going back down and popping up and going back down. So she was having a good old time in the windowsill. So I have this die cut, and that says favorite. What I end up doing, I do sort of use it, but not really. I just use the bottom edge to create a base for an embellishment cluster. And I use that dreaded speech bubble, but I hide the speech bubble part. I love that banner, but it's just too much with the pattern paper I'm using. I do end up using that camera down at the bottom. And as I said, I use a favorite over on the left. No, I'm sorry, right. I have problems with left and right. I always have to hold my hand up and say, this one makes an L, so that's my left hand, which is hilarious since I'm left-handed. But over on the right, right below the photo, is where I put a third embellishment cluster. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start to do my title. It's very long, so I cut most of it out. I know I want it to be centered across the way, so I start with the I in the middle, and I'm going to get my fine line ink, my fine line glue thing, because these are American Thickers in hardcover in a tan color, and of course they have no stick. So I get the, wow, this is, I don't know, oh, I was having problems unscrewing my cap. Someone had screwed it on way too tight. I let my dad use it to glue something, and he, of course, is a man and didn't realize how tight he was screwing it. So I went ahead and started gluing that down, and you're only going to see these two letters, and then I'm going to pop ahead to the end of there it is. So Scurry, Sniff, Flinch in hardcover by Thickers by American Crafts is what I ended up using. And then I cut a piece of the cardstock. Sorry. I cut a piece of the cardstock to add to the embellishment cluster down at the bottom, and I'm inking everything in Tim Holtz's Distress ink in Black Soot. And so I go ahead and I put that down there, and I grab a piece of, that's what I cut off of that diamond paper. And I know it's black, but I wanted to ink it anyways because there is a little lighter edge to it. So I'm going ahead and gluing all that down. And I was going to say something and I've completely forgotten what it was. I do a little bit of journaling, but not a lot, and I do it all the way at the end after I've shown close-ups. So basically all I said was this song from Lion King 1.5 came to mind when I saw Nala poking around the window. And this camera, it was kind of big, but since I really wasn't doing a huge amount of embellishing, I liked it, and it had all the colors, and it was really funny. I was taking all these photos. These are the ones that happened to turn out, but she didn't even care, and usually she doesn't like to have her photo taken. So I pulled some asterisks off the same Thickers kit, and I use those in each of the 3 embellishment areas. And here's where I take that favorite, and I try to see if I can fit it under there, and I didn't like it, so yeah, I'm measuring with my finger. So I cut it off, and I go ahead and tuck it under there, just basically to give a place for the rest of my embellishments. And so I go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to add, I wanted to use a flare, and I wasn't sure which one I was going to use or where I was going to use it. I ended up using A Little Birdie Told Me, and that's from Freckled Fawn. And then I believe I grab the puffy stickers from Evilicious, and the one I end up using is called Camera Love, and I use that green camera up in the top left-hand corner, and then a cream arrow down the bottom, and it says 1, 2, 3 cheese, and then a light blue arrow that says smile over by the flare. And then I grab some Heidi Swap enamel stickers. They don't have a name. They're the ones you get at Michael's as part of her regular stuff, not part of any, some of the Heidi Swap stuff is what they consider a specialty. It's not a regular line. It doesn't get replaced. It's just there until they sell it out. And I grab, on that sheet, there are a whole bunch of enamel round stickers. So I put 2 in each embellishment corner. And then I'm going to just cut off the edge of this. So I'm almost finished here. I'm going to show close-ups in a second. I decided not to do any misting because it is a very busy layout. Oh, I ended up adding a couple of pop dots to the top of that camera because there are so many layers of paper and the bottom of it is on the layers of paper that it ended up not working. So here are some close-ups, and then I'm going to write the journaling after that. I hope everyone is having a great day. It is very cold here in Connecticut, and it is once again snowing. So my niece already doesn't have school tomorrow, so, you know, joy of joys, she's happy. But thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day. Please like or comment if you have a question or you just want to give me some happiness. I will see you guys later. Bye!